qualification spaces that are available for next year's AfroBasket 2021, which will take place in Rwanda. So Egypt, well, they enter today's game as clear favourites. And here is our schedule. As you can see, after this game, we've got Morocco, Cape Verde. Tomorrow, it's Uganda, Morocco, and then Cape Verde, Egypt. So a busy schedule of action here. Here are your world rankings. As I said, Egypt coming at 60th, Uganda 101st, but I wouldn't buy too much into that. Uganda have made big strides in recent years and definitely play a lot higher than their 101st ranking suggests that it would. Obviously, in the coronavirus pandemic situation, limited people allowed into the arena. Really just officials associated with the game. But both teams won't need the crowd to get them hyped for today's game. As you saw in the schedule, 4 teams in this Group E, Morocco and Cape Verde as well. But out of those 4 teams, only 3 of them are going to make it through to AfroBasket 2021. Those teams will each play 3 games this weekend, 1 today, 1 tomorrow, 1 on Sunday, before they break and come back in February for the final qualification window, where we'll see truly who makes the cut and misses the cut. Final few technical details being completed at the officials' table. Looks like the Ugandan delegation just sorting a few things out while their players collect their final thoughts. Big game for Uganda, going up against the powerhouse really of African basketball. We're just waiting for the teams to be introduced to the crowd. At some point in proceedings, we are going to have a minute's silence here today to mark the passing of Abdul Rauf Mandur. Passed away on the 9th of November. He was the honorary president of FIBA Africa. He was bestowed that honor last year, aged 80, and a real icon of African basketball. So we will be having a minute's silence prior to today's game for that one. Will be sorely missed around African basketball. Really one of the leading forces in advancing African basketball over many, many years. But I'm sure he'd have taken games like today's game as a tribute for some of his achievements in the sport. Just got a few more clarifications. It looks like the Uganda delegation, still a few issues on the officials' table at the moment, potentially roster related. Just getting the final few clarifications. As you can see, one of our match officials walking away from the table. That's always a good sign. If the officials aren't needed by the table, then things are usually being sorted out. And Uganda are being introduced now. And their recent success, really, you have to attribute to the fact that they've returned core players at each international window. Coach Galanopoulos has selected a familiar roster yet again for this weekend's action. And remember, Uganda will be trying to make it to their 3rd consecutive AfroBasket tournament as well. Okay, they finished 15th and 13th in their previous 2 trips. What could 2021 hold for them if they can make it there? That said, they must know it's a big, big game here this evening, and this weekend is a big weekend for them. 3 games they're going to play. Realistically, they have to pick up 1 win. If they pick up 2, then they're in good shape going into that final qualification window. But that man there, Coach Galanopoulos, a lot of pressure on his shoulders to keep the Ugandan progress that they've made moving forward. He really has had a big impact, that man. As for Egypt, well, perennial powerhouse is the only way you can describe them within African basketball. They've made an impressive 20 AfroBaskets, and maybe even more impressively, they've picked up 2 gold, 6 silver, 6 bronze medals in that huge amount of AfroBasket experience. That said, they've only won 1 medal in the last 8 AfroBaskets, and that's a record that Egyptian basketball won't necessarily be proud of. It doesn't really sit alongside the usual high standards that they'd hold themselves to. And with this weekend being played in Alexandria, in Egypt, the expectation is that Egypt should, or will be determined to at least, pick up 3 wins out of 3. Anything less than that is probably going to be slightly disappointing for them. Plenty of talent, plenty of experience in that Egyptian roster. As Arabi's the last player to come out, the big man. And there's Coach Marai. Plenty of experience in him. We're now going to have a break for the national anthems of both Egypt and Uganda. And that completes the national anthems here. And both teams will go into their huddles. Final preparations will now get underway for today's game. Here are our officials for the action.
Bernardo from Angola, Mega, Mali,
and final preparations now underway as the Ugandan players just taking a few shots to finish off their warm-ups. And there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, Dengeu. And he'll lead the front court for Uganda alongside Juliba, Enabu, Opong and Wainwright. Expect Geo and Wainwright to be a bit of a lethal combo. They could really make a big dent in the Egyptian defense. Coach Galanopoulos brings with him plenty of experience. He's led them for the past 3 years, and we've seen real progression in Ugandan basketball. And really their mindset has kind of changed now. It's no longer qualification kind of being the hope as they enter the process. Qualification is kind of turned into the expectation for Ugandan basketball now when it comes to AfroBasket, and that's a great way to do it. Here's the starting five for Egypt. Metwali, Abdul Latif, Amin, Mahmoud, and Al Makawi is a starting five. Plenty of talent in there, some exciting players to look out for. Ahmed Amin is an exceptional talent, 25-year-old. Will take more and more responsibility on his shoulders as the years go past, likely to become the leader of this team, as we see Coach Marai giving those final instructions, and what amount of experience he brings to the sidelines here for the Egyptian national team. 6 years he's been in charge now of the national team. And I'm sure not just making it to AfroBasket, but medaling at AfroBasket is the target that he'll be setting his team. Recent years haven't been the golden years for Egypt, but you feel like that might be changing. Certainly have the talent to put the performances in on the big stage, that's for sure. As we see the final words within the Ugandan huddle. And remember, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest news, make sure you go onto the FIBA website, onto the AfroBasket Qualifiers website. You'll get all the highlight videos, press conferences, absolutely all you could want. I think we're going to have our minute's silence now as the players come to the floor. Remember, a minute's silence for the passing of Abdul Rauf Mandur. Passed away on the 9th of November. And he was the honorary president of FIBA Africa. And the players now getting ready after paying their tribute to an icon of African basketball, dedicated many years of his life to the sport we all love. And no more or better fitting tribute than a great game of African international basketball here today. Final details being sorted on the sidelines with the officials, and then we're ready to go. And we're underway here in Alexandria. AfroBasket 2021 qualifier between Egypt and Uganda. 40 minutes of exciting international basketball ahead of us. Straight inside to Wainwright. Lovely interior pass. And there's the 1-2 punch we talked about straight away. Dengeu getting the feed from Wainwright for the two-handed flush. Exactly the way Uganda wanted to open proceedings here today. Oh, but what an answer from Egypt as they hit a triple to open their account for the day. And straight away they're putting a full court pressure on, trying to steal the ball back. Uganda keep their composure. Gayu now, he's got position, but he's going to have to come back out. Mid-range two is no good. Rebound's going to fall to Uganda though, well recovered. Daliba now to Wainwright for three. He's fouled. He'll head to the line for 3 shots. Let's see who that was called on. I think it was on Al Makawi. As we see Wainwright head to the line for shots. Connects with the first of his three. The Baylor graduate. Born in Missouri. With a dual citizen, USA and Uganda. Connects with a second and a beautiful form on those shots. Shoots them so nonchalantly. Real confidence. And the third is good to go. Great start for Uganda. 5 points on the board, not a minute off the clock yet. Wali now brings it up over the half and hands it off. Gets it back though. Al-Makawi tries to go inside to Mahmoud. Mahmoud holds on to it. He's going to use his strength. Goes for the running hook shot. It's batted away. I think they were saying a shot clock violation. Not sure how close that was to be a goaltend. Let's have a look at this rejection. Shot goes up. Oh, that looked like it was on the way down to me. As we saw Draliba fly through the air and swat that one away. Uganda lead by 2, 90 seconds of the game gone, and Egypt pressing. Almost worked. Wainwright almost helped them out by pulling his dribble up right against the sideline. Wainwright now, little elbow jumper is good. Wainwright with 5 early points for Uganda. Definitely brings a different look to them. Abdul Latif hands it off to Metwali. Mahmoud now looking to go to work, comes back out. And Egypt patient the offensive end. Nice little step back from Metwali, a little bit too far on the step back maybe. Rebound pulled down by Apong. Inabu has it knocked away, and it's going to come off the legs of Draliba. So it's going to be an Egyptian ball on the sideline. Amin now hands it off. Oh, nice pass inside. Mahmoud should have gone up strong but didn't. Feeds the wing instead. Good decision in the end as Abdul Latif drains another 3. All 6 points coming from the hands of Ahmed Abdul Latif at the moment. And we've got quite a frenetic pace to the game here in the opening, just shy of 3 minutes. And that's going to be a goaltend from Dengeu. And Egypt will take the lead with that score. And they'll continue to apply pressure, hoping that Uganda won't be able to cope with it. They have so far. Into the hands of Opong. No good. Egypt with the defensive board. Abdul Latif, the hot hand. And that's the freezer treatment on that one. Quick heat check. Wainwright now going up against Al-Makawi. Oh, what a move! Pure handle opens the lane up. Metwali slides inside. Trying to get the foul call, nothing there though. Oh, and the ball is thrown away. Poor pass from Robinson Opong. Wainwright wasn't there to pick that one up, as we're going to see Al-Makawi go to the line. Oh, nice little step. Oh, the killer crossover opens the lane up, and he blasts past Al-Makawi there. Abdul Latif has had a good start to the game. 2 big threes for him. Egypt would be in trouble if he hadn't. He's kept the minutes so far. Almost knocked away. Shot clock down to 4. They're going to struggle to get a shot away of any class. And Min comes up short with that one. And the defense is great by Uganda. And you can see how pumped they are as a team for that defensive effort. Nabu now hands it off to Jaliba. Wide open, Tony Jaliba. Foul's going to be called earlier though. That one on, I think, Abdul Latif. Yep, holding foul called on him. Second team foul of the quarter for Egypt. 5:26 left on this first quarter clock. Uganda lead by a point, and two very contrasting styles on show here in the early going. And maybe that tells you something about the coaching styles of both teams. Uganda led by 31-year-old Galanopoulos, whilst Egypt led by 61-year-old Marai. Definitely different generations of basketball leaders, both bringing their own qualities to the sidelines for these two teams. Abdul Halim now. Oh, the lane just opens up for him. Wasn't expecting that to happen, but it did. Oh, quick outlet pass is good, and the two-hand flush is easy work for Dengeu. Uganda really working that transition hard, leaking out on the defensive end to give themselves easy scores at the other end. Egypt will have to be aware of that. Abdul Halim moves the ball around now. Shusha wide open, no good. That's come off the hand of Wainwright, according to the officials. It's going to be an Egyptian ball on the baseline. We'll see a change now as Rawaya comes into the game for the first time for Uganda. Five-second violation called on Egypt, unable to get the ball inbound as the Ugandan defense was just sprawling. Abdul Latif will head to the bench for Egypt. Wainwright now corralling the team in front of him. He's going to hand it off to Rawaya. And Uganda's ball movement and teamwork has been exemplary here in the opening stages. Wainwright, fadeaway is no good. Rebound into Okello. Oh, what a play! Strong move by James Okello. Takes a contact, keeps his concentration and nails the short-range jumper, pings it off the glass. And earns himself a trip to the charity stripe. Tenacious play by the 28-year-old. Can't make them pay fully though. Ugandan lead stays at 3. Egypt 10, Uganda 13. Shots up, too heavy. Here the Irons spit that one away. Rawaya nails the 3, points to the sky. And Uganda are certainly in the ascendancy at the moment. Going against what the pre-game expectations may have been from many. They are controlling the tempo fully. Drive to the basket by Shusha is met by the stand from Wainwright. Let's have a look again. He's outside the charge zone, but is he still moving? He looked like he might have been for me. One thing you'll get with a coach like Coach Marai, plenty of composure. He knows how long a 40-minute basketball game is. Being down by 6 at this stage is no real big deal for his team. Oh, and the ball's not going to fall. As you see, Al-Makawi slap his hands together in frustration. But he'll earn himself the opportunity to get the 2 from the line instead. Nice move, gets his arms underneath, extends up. No real alternative there for Okello. He's only going to end up with the foul. This is his first attempt, though, back at the line for the second. And the second as well. They could be costly in quick transition again. And the two is going to be good this time for Inabu. And Uganda are making Egypt pay heavily with great transition basketball. What an outlet pass and a strong move by Inabu. And the goaltending is going to be called, so the two is good. Extending Uganda's lead out to 8 and forcing coach Marai for Egypt to call a timeout. What an opening 6 minutes and 19 seconds we've had here in Alexandria. I'm going to try and jump into these timeout huddles as we go along during today's game, give you some real behind the scenes access. Let's listen to the Egyptian huddle straight away. Already some great plays here today. And Wainwright leading the way, 7 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. Wow, what a way to start the game. No wonder he's got a smile on his face. The stat that tells the tale for me, though, Uganda already have 7 transition points to 0 against Egypt. Uganda have come with some intensity and with some energy. And that's converted into an 8-point lead so far. Abdul Halim hands it off. Ball's fed inside now to Arabi. I think Okello's going to get called for the foul. Let's have a look if it's on the floor or the shots are good. Blocking foul, 2 to come. Block was deemed to be a legal block. So Omar Arabi will go to the line. And look at the size difference between Arabi and Okello. Arabi coming in at 2 meters 18. That is exactly what centers have always been about. And he does it well, uses his body well, uses his advantage well. And most importantly, if you're a big man, connects from the free throw line as well. Inabu was looking for the handoff or the dump off, but couldn't quite get it. Miscommunication with Wainwright. Turnover ball. And has this timeout worked for Egypt? They feel like they're slightly more confident and controlled coming out of it. They were losing their way slightly prior to the timeout. Shahata now hands it off to Arabi. That comes back to Abdul Halim. Floats inside. The foul's going to be called. That'll be the 3rd team foul of the quarter on Uganda. I think that one's going to be on Ruwaya. Let's have a look. Yeah, the reach around on the back. As Abdul Halim blasts past him, that left arm slapped the arm around the back. Oh, good read in the end by Wainwright, completely blindsided by the play, but sticks with it. Wainwright open for the long 3. Comes up short with that one, and Amin. Abdul Halim's come on and tried to force the conversation a little bit. At times that can work, but the last couple of instances, it's a little bit been driving down a blind alley, and look at the size difference. Poor James Okello has got a hell of a matchup to contend with, and Arabi makes him pay again. 2 quick fouls on Okello. And do Uganda have anything that can match up with the sheer size and strength of Omar Arabi? Potentially it might force them to swap into a zone defense, or might force them to front the post or double down on the post. One thing's for sure, you carry on doing the same thing, you can expect the same results. And what that will mean is Arabi either heading to the line or getting points in open play. It's the first of his 2 free throws And I'm sure the coaching brain of Coach Galanopoulos is looking through it now, thinking, right, how am I going to lock out this big man? We're undersized in comparison. What can we do about it? Egypt will make the change. As we see Uganda being pressured again to get the ball up over the half. They do, almost knocked away though. Wainwright hands it off to Inabu. Feeds Wainwright, double team comes across, quick ball movement, wide open for Hawaii, and nails another three. Almost an instant replay of the first that he hit. And the Ugandan lead back up to 7. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Mahmoud kicks it to the corner. Oh, and the shot is good. Youssef Shusha drops the triple from the corner. Oh, nice little hesitation. The lane opened up. Again, ball movement, wide open. Short this time, though. And the rebound falls to Mahmoud for Egypt. Shusha tries to feed Arabi. They are going to double team the big man now. What can Egypt do? They move the ball well, but it slows down. The Ugandan defense recovers. Wainwright now trying to front Arabi. And he's only going to be left with fouling him. And to say Arabi is a bit of a problem for Uganda is an understatement. At the moment, he is causing major issues for the Ugandan defense. He's only been on the floor a couple of minutes. He's got 4 points to his name. He's drawn 3 fouls. And he's almost unstoppable. Do Uganda have a defensive set that can stop him? And the Ugandan lead is down to just 3 points now. Could be down to 2 on this make. And Arabi is perfect from the free throw line. 6 from 6. Oh, and Egypt's defense is tough. It's off the Ugandan player, and it's going to remain the possession of Egypt. Kehata working hard and applying the pressure, and you can see how pumped he is for that. As Wainwright will head to the bench for Uganda. They can't afford him to pick up too many fouls, and it's Geu's turn to try and defend the big man Arabi. Does a good job so far. Shot goes in, no good. And from a Ugandan point of view, that is good news. Wide open. Ndeke is no good from outside though, and at the moment Ugandan's offense has all but dried up. Abdul Halim looking for options outside. There's nothing there. Oh, and the ball's knocked away. And they're going to get it over the other half. Just over 20 seconds remaining in the quarter. About a 2-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Wide open three is nailed. That's a big shot from Ndeke. Takes his tally to 7. Mahmoud, strong move, and the finish by Arabi before the buzzer. Great way to finish the quarter for Egypt. And the big man has stamped his authority on this game. 8 points already. He's only been in the game under 4 minutes. What a finish. And that's the end of the first quarter here in Alexandria. Egypt 21, Uganda 24. Here we're shooting statistics from that first quarter. Uganda shooting very, very well indeed. Where Egypt are making inroads, though, is from the free throw line, 6 from 8. Moments away now from the start of the second quarter here. Just a quick reminder that we obviously have 3 games this weekend for every team in this group before we return for our final qualification window in February. Back to the action here though. In the AfroBasket qualifier between Egypt and Uganda. Uganda having the better of things in the first quarter. And they've started this second quarter dropping into a zone just so that they can deal with the threat from the Egyptian big man Arabi. Abdul with the lob pass to Mahmoud, and he finishes it with the big two-handed slam.
Foul 13, Egyptian team.
Youssef Shahata picks up the foul. He's going to head to the bench. Let's have a look at that last Egyptian offense. Lovely pass and the sweet finish. Egypt at the moment running a very big rotation. Mahmoud 212, Arabi 218. And there's some big bodies on the floor. How can Uganda use that to their advantage though? There's an example. Playing a 5-out offense is going to work wonders. Arabi does not want to be out on the perimeter guarding anyone. Neither does Mahmoud. And the 5-out offense will make them do that. Ugandan lead is just a point now though. Driliba. Again, he's got the mismatch he wanted. Into the hands of Rawaya. Looked like he might have been caught. The officials saying, nope, you made the most of it. And it'll be an Egyptian ball instead. Abdul hands it off to Farag. Back to Abdul Halim. Good ball movement and patience here from Egypt. Abdul Halim floats in for the 2.
Number 5, 25-24, Egyptian lead.
Nice drive inside, and the foul is going to be called on Mahmoud. And this is a good ploy by Uganda. Try and cause the Egyptian big men to come out and play some perimeter defense and use your speed against them. Here's another replay of Abdul Halim. Very aggressive towards the basket here today so far. As we see Al-Makawi come back into the game, whilst Dengeu goes to the line for 2 free throws, rattles home the first of those 2. Having a good season in Denmark, Dengeu, averaging 12 points, 9 rebounds for Horsens in the Danish league. Misses the second though, and Arabi uses that big frame to secure the defensive rebound. Makawi now hands it off to Farag. Good ball movement. Abdul Halim for 3 this time. You could tell the moment that left his hands, he didn't have confidence in it. Good movement here now for Opong. He can't get it to go, but the rebound falls nicely for Odeke. But he's going to get called for the traveling violation. So the Egyptian team will take possession on the baseline from that turnover. Good patience from Egypt on the perimeter, and a nice strong move from Omar Farag. And Egypt continue to apply some pressure. Got to get it over the half. They do so. Some nifty handle there from Draliba, and that's going to be a travelling violation called on Odeke. I have a feeling that's going to cause him to get subbed out of the game. Back-to-back mistakes from him, back-to-back turnovers. Here's the ball movement and the wonderful baseline drive. And the very cool, calm and collected finish from Farag. Wow, quick hands from Mtwali. Abdul Halim once again goes for the teardrop, nothing there, throws the ball out.
Outside.
It's going to remain a Ugandan ball. They're fortunate in a way. It's almost going to be a turnover, as we've seen Wainwright head back into the action for Uganda a few seconds ago. He was integral to Uganda's lead in that first quarter. They now trail by 2. As we see Arabi head to the bench, and he was really the turning point for Egypt in that first quarter. Foul's going to be called.
Foul number 8, Omar Azam from the Egyptian team. Substitution.
That's the 4th team foul on Egypt. Under 3 minutes played here. If Uganda can keep their act together on the free throw line, they could make hay while the sun is shining. If they can get themselves to the free throw line now, they've got over 7 minutes of doing so. As the ball comes off Mahmoud and will remain with Uganda. Ball to Wainwright. Comes back out. Good hands though, and Opong is forced to turn it over. Wainwright is blocked.
Foul number 5, Jimmy from Rwandan team.
Nabu is going to get called for the foul.
Egyptian team number 12, Yusuf.
Shusha's going to head to the line. 2 free throws, yeah. That's a textbook foul. Pretty easy for the officials to call that one.
1 point, the Egyptian team.
Shusha was part of that Egyptian team back in 2013 that won the silver medal at AfroBasket. Last medal that Egypt have won in AfroBasket was that 2013 medal. Wow, quick transition again, quick ball movement. Wainwright for 3. Oh, and it's string music. Ishmael Wainwright with another triple. He's up to double digits. First player in the game for either team to hit the double-digit mark. Shusha now. Farag. And Egypt really are good at moving the ball around. Great teamwork. Foul's going to get called. Who's that one on?
Foul number 5, Rwandan team, Jimmy.
I think it's going to be on Enabo.
Substitution.
Enabo called for the foul, yep.
4 in, 1 out.
Let's see the quick ball movement. Great selfless play from Uganda. Wainwright wide open for the 3. And that's tied the game up at 28 apiece as we see Shusha head to the line for another 2 free throws. Plies his trade for El Etihad in the Egyptian league.
Yusuf Shusha, number 12.
Oh, and a wonderful bit of hustle work there from El Makawi. Gets the offensive rebound off the missed free throw and converts what would have been 1 point to 2. And again, quick transition basketball from Uganda. Wainwright will be frustrated he didn't get the score. But Uganda are lethal when they get out in the open floor and move the ball well, and Coach Marai knows it. And again, they just move the ball so well. They trust each other. They really are gelled as a team, and it's what I was talking about in the pre-game. One of the big keys to Uganda's recent success has been they've got a core of players that they just keep complementing rather than completely changing. As Wainwright hits his free throws. The Egyptian lead just at 2 now. It's been a real back and forth, sorry, 1. Just been a real back and forth affair so far. But Wali, first step is quick enough to find some space, but the Ugandan defense quickly locks down on him. Geu attempting the Euro step, but didn't have the left hand to back up the footwork. Not Wali now. Strong move, and El Makawi is picking up where Arabi left off. Oh, and it's thrown away. Egypt out in transition, 3-on-1. Oh, what a move from Amin. Not sure many were expecting him to make that one. Look at this move, though. Floats under the basket, and the spin on the basketball perfectly placed to get himself the 2. That is an exceptionally difficult shot to connect with at full speed, and no wonder he's got a smile on his face as that basket has forced coach Galanopoulos into a timeout for Uganda. Again, let's jump into the huddle. Let's listen to what the coaching staffs have to say. And Egypt now have taken control of this game. They lead by 5. That said, Uganda still have flashes of real brilliance. Almost thrown away again. Don't understand why Draliba threw the full cross-court pass, and he could have just fed it inside for the easy score.
Substitution. Number 55 in, number 11 out for the Egyptian team.
And a scary sight for Uganda as Arabi comes back into the action. Egypt sitting in a 2-3 zone, and that's the problem with the zone. Robinson Opong drains the 3, cuts Egypt's lead to just 2. Interesting to see them go into a zone. I'm not sure that's their problem. Arabi from outside. Wow, the big man can do it all. Dominates in the low post, back to the basket, and shows some real finesse from range. Mid-range jumper, not the prettiest of shots. Caused his teammates some problems there. Okello putting up that shot. But Arabi giving a masterclass on basketball at the moment. Hitting absolutely everything as we see a replay of the Draliba foul. Over halfway through this second quarter, and Egypt have taken control of the game, and they're finding it a lot easier to score points in this second quarter. Outscoring Uganda 19-9 here in the second quarter. Stolen away again. Mahmoud, no good. Foul's going to be called on Opong. As he fails to box out legally. That one's going to send Abdul Halim to the line for 2, I think, is it? No, it's going to be a baseline ball. That was the 4th team foul for Uganda, not the 5th. Mahmoud now. To Amin. Wali nails the 3. and absolutely everything is going right for Egypt now. Their biggest lead of the game, out to a double-digit lead. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Long three is no good. Arabi pulls down the rebound, and Uganda, their offense has all but dried up, and their defense is being put under pressure, and at the moment is starting to creak and crack. Abdul Halim floats it up. Soft touch from Abdul Halim.
45-33.
The three, and Uganda are completely reliant on the three at the moment. And it is not their friend, and it is not going their way. Their offense has all but stopped. They've been outscored 24-9 here in the second quarter, after leading at the end of the first quarter 24-21. We see Robinson Opong head back to the Ugandan bench. And in comes Eric Rawaya. Okello's at the line for 2 shots though for Uganda. Can he take the seal off the basket? He can. Okello was part of the Ugandan roster within the World Cup qualifiers as well, so plenty of experience for him. He averaged 4.6 points, 2.8 rebounds in that qualification cap, and almost stolen away. But Mtwali ends up with possession for Egypt. Abdul Halim floats in again, off target with the left hand this time though. And Wainwright too busy on who's behind him, but it falls into the hands of Inabu, and he nails the three. And Uganda's brings it within 7. Mtwali's inbound pass, sorry, interior pass is knocked away. Here's the corner triple from Inabu. Okello heads to the bench for Uganda, as does Mtwali for Egypt. Dengo comes in for Uganda. Amin's also out for Egypt. Oh, and the pass inside is going to be tough to stop him when he's that low. The big man goes to work and has a host of Ugandans hanging off his back, but still gets the 2 to go. Arabi now up to 11 points, 4 rebounds. It's always impressive when you've got more points than minutes on the box score, and that's exactly what Omar Arabi has right now. Played a little over 9 minutes. He's perfect from the field, 3 from 3, and 13 points to his name. Wainwright now looking for options, nothing there. Wonderful skip pass along the baseline, and Uganda do rely on that exterior ball movement, and the foul is going to be called on Arabi. And that's a smart move by Inabu. Second foul called on Arabi.
Substitution, number 11, number 55 foul.
I was just about to say, if I'm Coach Marai, I'm taking Arabi out the game for the final 2 minutes of this first half. One, get him a breather, give the big man some time to rest those legs. And secondly, save his fouls. He's helped Egypt flip the switch after what was a slow start. He's one of the key reasons they currently have a lead in this game, as Inabu brings that lead down to 8 points now. But we certainly don't want Arabi picking up his 3rd foul here in the first half. Shehata now with the ball for Egypt. Hands it off to Abdul Halim. Shehata for 3. Iron pushes that one away, but once again the offensive rebound is good for Egypt. This time it's Abdallah with the rebound. Rawaya short with the 3, but the rebound's going to fall into the hands of Uganda. And Nabu puts it to the corner, and this time we're good to go. Eric Rawaya nailing another three. He's making a big difference in this game. He's up to 9 points. All of those points coming from outside. Ugandan deficit now is down to 7. Egypt 49, Uganda 42. Strong move from Al Makawi. Dengayu thought he'd played some good defense. It looked good. Let's have a look at the replay. He's got an armbar. He's taken him on the chest. Oh, it's that left hand, and he jumps forward. Criminal. All the hard work had been done from Dengayu. He'd used the armbar, which is legal. He'd let him bump off his chest, which is legal. But then he put his hand on his hip. There's your first foul. And then the second one, he jumped forward instead of straight up when he went to block it. Timeout's going to be called here. 1 minute 10 left in the first half. Egypt lead this one 49-42 over Uganda. It's been a wonderful first half of basketball so far. Let's jump into Coach Gallinopoulos' timeout.
Grab it, stop, chin it, and move it to the next guy. We got to move it, just continue to attack. Use it as a transition opportunity to attack the paint, continue moving. We're throwing a football pass and doing this. Okay? Jim, I'm coming forward, and then
Arabi certainly has made an impact on today's game. 13 points, 4 rebounds. He's played under 10 minutes of action. He's got 2 fouls, though, and that's why we see him sitting on the bench, probably for the remainder of this first half at least. But he really was the difference. Uganda got out of the blocks, played very well in that first quarter, and it wasn't until the introduction of Arabi that we saw the game shift into the favor of Egypt. We've had a wonderful first half of basketball, free-flowing, high-scoring, as Al Makawi is back at the line. It's the first of his 2 free throws. This is the second, but the rebound falls into the hands of Egypt. Abdul Halim now looks to drive inside, almost stolen away. Abdul Halim for 3. Doesn't get it to go. 50 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Nabu putting the jets on and really following his coach's instructions. He's saying, look, yes, we know we can shoot the 3, but there's so much more on offer than that. And he's absolutely right, Coach Gallinopoulos. And that's one of the things that worked for them in that first quarter, was their transition basketball. They scored 7 points in the first quarter on the fast break. They seem to have walked away from that. And good to see from a Ugandan point of view, they've potentially gone back to it here with Nabu. It's the first of his 2 free throws. 46.9 seconds remaining. Misses the second, but the rebound's going to fall into his hands. Wainwright loses his footing, but it stays with Uganda. No, it doesn't. Foul's going to be called on Draliba. They're making complaints that they're saying there were fouls on them beforehand. Officials aren't going to hear any of that, and instead Egypt will be heading to the line. Gahata will be the man at the line for 2 free throws. Graduated from Point Loma back in 2017. Actually born in Arizona in the US. Coach Marai just having a few words with his coaching colleagues. Hits both from the free throw line, and Egypt call the substitution to take Shahata out of the game. 38.9 seconds remaining here in this first half. And Nabu now brings it up over the half. About a 15-second differential between shot clock and game clock. into the corner. Deng Geu now. Nothing there to Wainwright. Shot clock down to 5. Little crossover from Wainwright inside, and he's fouled. Wonderful patient play. An almost near perfect defense from Egypt. And in the end, the foul is on Deng Geu. That will send Uganda to the line as we see what will be probably the final substitutions as Mahmoud comes back into the game for Egypt. And El Makawi will head to the bench. For the neutrals out there watching this game, it's certainly been an entertaining first half. Nice high-scoring game. When the teams combined for nearly 100 points in the first 20 minutes. More than likely you've been pretty entertained, and that's certainly the case here in Alexandria today. And Geu connects with the second free throw after missing the first. Timeout's been called as Uganda trail 52-44 to Egypt. After a tough first quarter, Egypt have certainly stamped control on this one. Stamp the Egyptian brand of basketball on this one as well. Timeout's been called with 16.2 seconds remaining in the first half. Let's jump into the Egyptian huddle, see if Coach Mirai has got a play chalked up on the board for his team to execute. Just shows the importance of every second in these AfroBasket qualifiers. Coach Mirai not taking any chances, wants to get his team the best opportunity he can to get them the score to finish off this first half. You don't know how important that's going to be, not just in today's game, but potentially the overall qualification picture, as it might come down to points scored, points difference. A ton of different variations could make or break your qualification. 5 seconds remaining. It's been stolen away, though. That's not the play that he drew up. Are they going to get a shot away? No, they're not. That's going to be the end of the first half here in Alexandria. An entertaining first half overall. And the halftime score sees the home side Egypt lead things 52-44 over Uganda. High-scoring affair. Plenty more entertainment to come. Here are your shooting statistics from that first half. As you can see, Uganda leaning heavily on the three-point shot, but shooting well. Both teams performing well. Identical records from the free throw line. That's an interesting one, but you can see why we've got a close game. Statistically, the teams are relatively well lined up here. No one dominating on any aspect. 2 players in double digits. Egypt's leading scorers are Arabi 13, Abdul Latif 6, and Amin 6. For Uganda, it's Wainwright with 12. Here are some of the highlights from that second quarter. And as I said, Wainwright leads things with 12 for Uganda. Deng Geu has 9, as does Rawaya. Been an interesting first half, that's for sure. Egypt leading the way, and it really wasn't until the arrival of Rabi that they did. Remember, at the end of the first quarter, Uganda led 24-21. And they were up by even bigger than that during that first quarter. It really was when the big man for Egypt stepped onto the floor, Omar Arabi, that things changed. At half-time, he's got 13 points, 4 rebounds to his name. So an impressive first half, bearing in mind he's only played 9.5 minutes for Egypt in that first half. So a good-looking box score considering the amount of time he's actually played. Also for Egypt, they've spread their offense relatively well. Abdel Halim's got 6 points. Abdel Latif's got 6 points. Amin's got 6 points. Al Makawi's got 6 points as well. A really spread offense, and that's caused Uganda some issues. As for Uganda, one player in double digits. That's Ishmael Wright. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Dengeu has 9 points and 3 rebounds to his name. Rawaya has 9 points as well, and Enabu has 7 points at the halftime break. Remember, this is the first game of their qualification for AfroBasket 2021. The goal is to finish in the top 3 of this 4-team group, and those top 3 teams will secure themselves a spot at Eurobasket in Rwanda next year. That's the dream ticket. Both these teams will enter qualification expecting to qualify, but what you expect and what happens, well, they're not necessarily going to be the same thing. We've seen it time and time again, and that's what makes these qualification campaigns so exciting to watch. And remember, this is the first of 3 games this weekend for these teams. A game here today, they'll come back tomorrow, and they'll come back on Sunday. And by the end of this weekend, we should have a much better picture on who's taken their first steps towards qualification and who has left themselves with a mountain to climb when they come back for the second qualification window in February. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we've got 20 more minutes of action to come here in Alexandria. And if it's the first half is anything to go on, it's likely to be free-flowing, high-scoring, exciting basketball. Both teams seem focused on the offensive end. That's been evident in the first 20 minutes. And if that continues in the second half, for all us neutrals, it's an enjoyable game of basketball, even if it does put you Egyptian and Ugandan fans a little bit nerve-wracking time as we get to the closeout. But at the halftime break here, Egypt lead 52-44 over Uganda.
comes Kendall Manuel. And nice pass inside, but he's swatted from behind for Senegal. Number 28, Ibrahim Afai. The ball's back, getting his first 2 points, but quickly the other end is Irekpu, who knows nothing about slowing down. He is, again, just so quick. And going in for the dunk, but denied. Sidibe says, this is your house, but tonight, this is my house.
Looks for the pass from Cleveland Hanna. And there's dime. Oh, goodness me. He saw the ball and he says, I'm going to do a little bit of reverse two-handed jam.
No look pass. Beautiful play, Angola. De Silva.
Well, welcome back to Alexandria here in Egypt for the AfroBasket qualification game between Egypt and Uganda. And we have been dealt a wonderful first half of basketball. Halftime score, Egypt 52, Uganda 44. A nice high scoring game. Wainwright leading the scoring for Uganda with 12 points. Rawaya with 9. And Go with 9 as well. As you can see, smiles on the Ugandan team's face at points. They've played some wonderful basketball. They opened the game beautifully. 7 transition points in the first quarter. They led at the end of the first quarter, 24-21. However, the arrival of the big man Arabi for the home team Egypt changed the flow of the game almost instantly. And Egypt outscored Uganda 31-20 in that second quarter. Remember, both these teams playing for a chance to be at AfroBasket 2021 in Rwanda. That's what's up on offer. That's a big prize for sure. Both these teams will have entered qualification expecting to be at AfroBasket 2021. But expectation and reality are sometimes quite far apart. From their first half performance, you'd be disappointed if you didn't see both of these teams in Rwanda next year. But remember, out of this 4-team group, which also includes Morocco and Cape Verde, you're only going to get 3 of those teams making their way through to AfroBasket 2021. Not long left now, just a minute until we start the second half. And we're yet to see Egypt take to the floor. Coach Marai using every last second of time in the locker room to get his message across to his team. You always wonder if that's a positive or a negative. Do players benefit from more warm-up time, less warm-up time in the half-time break? Often it comes down to the individual athlete. Sometimes a longer break is better. Sometimes a quick message, a quick talk, and then back on the floor is the best way forward. But now we see the Egyptians coming back to the floor with only 30 seconds remaining until they need to be on the floor to play the game. Let's watch that closely to see if there's any difference. Uganda certainly started the first quarter with a lot more energy and a lot more impetus than the Egyptian side did. If that's the case in the second half, then potentially that would be one of the root causes that they didn't have any warm-up before the start of the second half. There's the big man Arabi, 13 points, 4 rebounds. What they don't have on that graphic is that he's played less than 10 minutes in the game. Always a good place to be, having more points than minutes against your name on the box score. And that's certainly what the big man has. And Uganda, they struggled to find an answer for him in the low post. And when they did start to find an answer by doubling and dropping into his own defense, what does he do? Well, he steps out and just drains the 3 on you, showing you that he has got range as well as strength in the post. Pretty sure he'll play his part in the second half as well. Very influential member of the Egyptian roster. Everything's set for the start of the second half. Now just waiting for the Egyptian players to come back on the floor. The 5 for Uganda on the floor, ready to go. And again, you have a feeling that Uganda might go back to a bit more transition basketball. Try and get out and run, leak out on the defensive end and try and get some easy scores in transition. Whereas Egypt will want to slow the game down and make it a little bit more of a half-court physical affair. Well, here we go. Second half action underway here in Alexandria. Egypt 52, Uganda 44 at the halfway stage. Wainwright straight to the basket, grabs his own rebound though. Back out to Draliba for 3, and Uganda start the second half like they started the first, with a quick score. Opening game of the qualification campaign for both these teams. Pass inside, Arabi has it stolen away. Quick hands from Uganda. Foul's going to be called this time on Abdallah. Is the basket going to be given? Wait to see what the officials say. As Draliba drives to the basket, let's wait for the calls from the officials. Basket's good. Sorry, and Nabu with the score. And in the blink of an eye, Egypt's lead is down to just 3. And you can't help but question having no warm-up before the second half might not be such a good tactic. They literally came back into the arena with under 30 seconds to go, and pretty much 90% of the team had no warm-up whatsoever before the second half. And Uganda have flown out of the blocks to start this second half. A 6-0 run gets them underway. A 3-pointer and an and one. 2-point lead now just for Egypt, and Uganda's tails are up. They're ready to go. Inside to Arabi. Wainwright standing strong. Traveling violation or a jump ball. It's going to be called as a jump ball. Personally, I would have called that maybe as a travel. Let's have a look again. No, true. No one's actually got possession of it, really. And you've got to give respect to Wainwright on that one. He just stood his ground. Inside to Arabi. Arabi now way too low, and once again it's stolen away, and Arabi's going to get called for the foul. Or is it a foul on Draliba? It's a foul on Draliba. Baseline ball for Egypt. Or was it just out of bounds? I think it might have just been out of bounds. Baseline shot now is no good from Farag for Egypt. And Uganda take possession with an opportunity to take the lead back. Strong drive to the basket. Foul's going to be called on Omar Farag. And this is what Coach Gallinopoulos was talking about in his timeout in that second quarter, saying, look, as much as the 3 works for us, we need to make sure that we use more than just that. As we see Arabi heading to the bench already, just over a minute into the second half, and in comes Abdul Halim. Obviously, Coach Marai not seeing the impact that Arabi had in the first half, present in the second half, and the 3 is good to go. And Uganda take the lead with just over a minute gone in this second half, and they've started a 9-0 run. Foul called on the floor, though. And Uganda start the second half like they did the first, in dominant, high-energy fashion. There's the corner 3. Wonderful shot from Opong. Abdul Halim comes back out to Abdul Latif. Egypt showing patience again on the offensive end. Shot clock down to 5, though. Abdul Halim won't take the shot from there. Floats inside onto his left hand. Almost a signature move from Abdul Halim. And Nabu holds on to possession just about. Inside to Wainwright. And Nabu for 3. Looks flat. Always going to be difficult for the shot to go down when the shot has such a low trajectory. Farag trying to look for options, but the Ugandan defense is holding strong. They're forced to shoot from way out. Oh, that's an ugly looking air ball from Abdul Latif. Oh, and the ball's thrown away. Some unnecessary mistakes by both teams at the moment. It's off the foot of Abdul Halim, so it's going to remain with Uganda. They've got 12 seconds left on the shot clock, so plenty of time to work with. But we're seeing a few unnecessary errors from both teams as maybe the pressure starts to build. And Nabu is fouled. Not sure who that was on. Was it on Abdallah? Jaliba inbounds it. Yeah, Abdallah was called for the foul in that situation. And another mistake, this time from Inabu. Abdallah Tef puts it outside. Too heavy with that shot, but the rebound falls to Egypt. Abdul Halim, no good. The rebound is good though for Abdallah. And he turns around and now has a short range jumper. And the press is quickly broken by Uganda. Oh, and the seas part for Jimmy Inabu. He gets the easy score.
Substitution.
Egypt are going to make a change as well. As we just see the Egyptian defense completely fall asleep. And Egypt's lead once again is just at 1 point. You just have a feeling this game is setting itself up to take it all the way to the final buzzer. You would not be surprised if you saw an overtime coming our way. Stolen away. Uganda back out at the races. 2-on-1 break, and Nabu tries to hand it off. It's a scramble on the floor, and Egypt will scoop up the loose ball. McWali puts it into the corner. McWali on the wing for three. And Egypt's perimeter shooting has not been overly impressive so far here today. It's been their interior game, either driving to the basket or back to the basket offense. That has won them most points here this evening. Draliba now looking for options in front of him. Crossover, spin move, floats inside. That is a tough play by Tony Draliba. McWali tries to find something inside on his own, does well to do so, and uses just that quick foot speed to create some space and himself a trip to the free throw line, the young point guard. Let's have a look at the move here from Draliba. Shot clock running down. Just took the pressure on his shoulders well. In and out by McWali. As Wainwright talks a little bit of trash in the paint. And substitution for Egypt. And a ploy being used by coach Marai is using substitutions on the shooters from the free throw line, and that's stopping Uganda using free throws as an opportunity to get out in transition. A tied game, 57 to Egypt, 57 to Uganda, and more unforced mistakes.
Substitution.
As both fatigue and pressure set in on both of these teams now as we get to the crunch end of the game. Barag waves away his teammates, but hands it off to Mahmoud. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Arabi come back into the game soon for Egypt. It was at this kind of stage of the game when it was a little bit stale that they brought Arabi in to turn things their way. It'll be an Egyptian ball with McWali on the sideline. Barag now skips it. Amin for three, in and out again, very low trajectory. No arc on that shot. Spin move is good, but Mahmoud just stands up tall, swats it away. Amin, easy two off the glass. takes his tally to 8 and gives Egypt their lead. Great defense by Egypt here. Are they going to get it over the half in time? It doesn't feel like they are. No, they're not. 8-second violation. No, foul's going to be called. They were literally about a second away from forcing the 8-second violation, but Wali's going to get called for the foul. And there's the rejection from Anas Mahmoud. Quick hands from Metwali, but it's going to remain a Ugandan ball on the sideline. So a phase of the game now where if one of these teams can kind of get their act together and claim a stake to it and control the game, they could open up a lead. Here's Egypt out of the break. And you've got to give Dengeyu some credit there. He made a mistake on the offensive end, but made amends for it defensively. They're not going to get it over the half in the 8 seconds, and the Egyptian defense, ratcheting up a few notches, is working a wonder at the moment. And here's the change we were expecting. Arabi is coming into the game for Egypt. Omar Farag is heading to the bench. Will the tired Ugandan limbs be able to resist the power and the strength and the skill of Arabi? And that's the way they've got to play him. They've got to front the post. If they let him establish himself too low in the post and let him receive the ball in that position, then it's almost an automatic 2 points and potentially a foul as well. Shahat has also come into the game for Egypt as well. Nice pass to Mahmoud. Doesn't get the 2 to go, but does draw the foul as confusion reigns in the Ugandan defense. Only criticism you'd have of Mahmoud there is he kind of gave up on the play. He kept his concentration. Wasn't an impossible shot to make. It's the first of his 2 free throws. Egypt's lead out to 3. Misses the second, though. And Metwali's going to get called for the foul, and rightfully so. His hands might not be doing the work, but he's leaning way too much into the defense. Second foul on Metwali. Wainwright back into the action for Uganda as Gayu has earned a break. That last shot we saw of him close up, he certainly looked like he put a shift in already this evening. Sweat dripping off him, looked pretty tired. Rawaya open for the 3 in the corner, comes up short though. Some say it's the easiest of the 3s to hit because you're closest to the basket, but not always easy without the backboard as a reference point. Shot goes up, and Arabi is causing the problems again. Relieva fakes the 3. And Uganda now starting to become a bit more patient offensively. And Nabu hits the pull-up jumper. And once again, the offensive engine for both these teams seems to starting to fire up again. Relatively low-scoring quarter in reference to this game. Uganda outscoring Egypt 15-10 in this quarter. And the drive from Shusha's no good. Wainwright with the pass to Rawaya. Gets the 2 over the outstretched hand of Arabi. And Uganda are back within 1 of Egypt now. Rawaya takes his personal tally to 11. His first field goal from inside the 3-point line. Mahmoud holds on to the pass, but he can only hold on to it behind the basket, making it near impossible for him to do anything with it, and it's a turnover ball. And there's a little pull-up jumper from Enabu. Can Uganda take the lead? Just over 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And it's certainly been a Ugandan quarter. Rawaya now. And Egypt, their zone defense is chasing around hard. The shot comes up short. Shusha pulls down the rebound. Sorry, not Shusha. Shihata pulls down the rebound. Inside, Arabi. No good this time. Mahmoud with the rebound. He can't bat it back to his own team, though. Falls into the hands of James Okello. Pulls up for the three. Confident play by Okello. He's struggled so far here today, though. Just 4 points to his name. He's only played 8 minutes. Foul's going to be called, I think, on Draliba. Coach Galanopoulos not happy with the officials, having a quick word in their ear as they're standing near him. Just the fourth foul for Uganda, though. Both teams in the penalty now, so all fouls will send their opposition to the free throw line as we see Draliba head to the bench. Inside, Arabi picks it up. Again, good defense by Wainwright, though. Just used enough body on him to push Arabi out of prime position. Nails the three. What's the call?
Substitution.
Not sure what the call was. Looks like he stepped out of bounds. That's frustrating. Eric Wire coming out and stepping out of bounds on that play. As we see Arabi head back to the bench. Again, struggled to make an impact here in the second half. Nowhere near the impact he had in the first half of this game. Into the hands of Metwale. Nails the three. Slightly lazy defense there from Eric Rawaya. And Egypt make them pay. You've got to chase out to those shooters. Rawaya's going to try and return the favor. Compounds the mistake by coming up short with his own attempt. Abdul Halim hands it off, but the foul has been called on the floor, but it's still going to send Abdul Halim to the line for 2 free throws.
Substitution.
Let's have a look. Series of mistakes from Rawaya, from Coach Galanopoulos. I'm probably taking him out of the action. Instead, Okello's going to head out, and Yeo's going to come back in for Uganda. Abdul Halim at the line now for 2 shots. Oh, very short with his first. Only 4 from 10 from the field today, Abdul Halim. Has been a positive influence on the Egyptian team, though. Very direct, very aggressive offensively. Misses the second, but Egypt pulled down the offensive rebound into the final minute now of this third quarter. No good. Ugandan defensive board. What can they do with what might be their final possession of the quarter? Almost turn it over, I think, is the answer. 26 seconds differential between shot clock and game clock, so potentially Uganda will get another bite at the cherry after this possession. They've got 11 seconds left on this possession. If I'm Coach Galanopoulos, I'm telling them to go to the basket strong. Egypt are in the penalty, so you're going to get yourself some free throws. Just getting some of the sweat off the ball before we can start back. As they throw it back in, the official can't hold on to it. Maybe it's still a bit slippery. A Pong to inbound it for Uganda. Does so to Wainwright. Enabo. Enabo no good. And Egypt will pull down the rebound. They're out at the break. A very rare transition for them. And the score is good. Strong play by Abdul Halim. Uganda will now settle to try and take the final shot of this quarter against the 2-3 zone of Egypt. Nabu losing the handle, almost losing the ball again, and they're going to run out of time. And what a poor way for Uganda to finish this quarter. They ended up winning the quarter 17-15 after a lightning start, but Egypt lead this after 3. Egypt 67, Uganda 61. Here are your shooting statistics for that third quarter. Both teams performing pretty well. Egypt's free throw shooting starting to fall off a little bit. That could be problematic in the final quarter. Welcome back to Alexandria here in Egypt. 10 more minutes to play in this qualification game for AfroBasket 2021. And we're underway now. Final quarter action here in Alexandria. Egypt 67, Uganda 61. 3 quarters down, 1 to go. Everything to play for, and what's been a real back and forth tussle between these two teams. Oh, what an opening play and a roar from El Makawi. Great way to start the final quarter for Egypt. Opportunity for a 3-point play for the big man. There's the interior pass from Mandur. The foul, I think, was called against Wainwright yet. It was. What do Uganda have? Foul's going to be called on El Makawi. Egypt lead by 8. They've not been overly convincing so far. Wainwright's going to head to the bench, though. That is his 4th foul, and that could be a problem for Uganda. Inside now. And more great defense from Mandur. Been real rim protector. That's his 2nd block of the game. As we see Rauf come back into the game for Uganda. El Makawi will head to the bench for Egypt. As Coach Marai, as always, animated on the sidelines for Egypt. Stolen away into the passing lane. Metwali gets the 2. Tried to convince the officials that he was fouled. They're having none of that, though. 10-point lead now for Egypt. What a start. First minute of this final quarter. A 4-0 start for them. Rauf tries to get it away. Another interception, this time Mandur to Metwali to Mandur for the thunder flush. Wonderful transition basketball from Egypt. And that is what we've come to know. They've not been in full flow this evening, but moments like that realize why they are so important to African basketball, and why are they one of the better nations in this competition. When they get out and run, it's a thing of beauty. Perfectly positioned lob pass to Mahmoud to finish. And Coach Galanopoulos, no choice. Only just over a minute into the final quarter. Has to burn a timeout. Needs to hit the reset button with his team. Let's jump into his huddle. Let's see if we can hear what he has to say.
Robinson, you're here, A, now you're setting the screen. Get him set the screen. If he turns you this way, just flip the screen and get downhill and create a problem and continue to move the basketball and stay spaced. If you find a flash opportunity, flash. Pass it. Let's go. Pass it. Get up here, 1, 2, 3. Get up.
A wonderful start to this final quarter for Egypt. A 6-0 run to start proceedings. And that's really put Uganda on the back foot and given them a bit of a mountain to climb here. 9 minutes to play and they trail by 12. So they have the firepower to come back from this. Egypt's continue to sit in their 2-3 zone and it's working at the moment. Uganda are settling for those tough long-range shots. They're not willing to go and challenge the zone like they need to. That's the only way they're going to get either easier perimeter shots or an attempt at getting close to the bucket. Mkwale, step back three is no good. But the long rebound falls to Shihata. Mahmoud, right hook. Oh, what a soft right hook from Mahmoud. Another steal. Egypt flying defensively. Mkwale leading the way. And he has been a firecracker in this final quarter. Wainwright now being harassed into the corner. Jaliba moves the ball around. Opong, fadeaway three. That's a tough shot. Rebound is brought in by Geu now. Moves it back out, in and out. And Abdallah will pull down the rebound for Egypt. And Egypt now will take their time. This is a big lead for them. Highest of the game, 16 points. Abdul Halim, no joy. Uganda come away with it. Inabu, oh, the two-handed flush as Wainwright flies through the air. We have certainly not been short of highlight moments in the game here in Alexandria. For all the neutrals out there, we have been treated well. Not the prettiest of looking shots there from Abdallah, but at the moment it's more clock management for Egypt. Just make sure they run down the clock as much as they can, even at this stage of the game, because Uganda are struggling to score. That said, what a pretty play. As we see the pass float in from Inabu, and Wainwright just elevate beautifully to the basket for the alley-oop.
Substitution.
Mahmoud will head to the bench after a strong contribution. And Arabi comes back in. Another steal. This time it's Amin. He's not going to hold on to it though. He can just throw it back into play for Uganda to scoop up. But this zone has worked wonders for Egypt. It's enabled them to get into the passing lanes. Another steal. This time Abdul Halim has stripped it away from Wainwright. And a transition bucket is an easy play for Ihab Amin. Not another steal, surely. They get away with it this time. Jaliba, no chance with that play. Went in amongst the trees. Good defense this time, though, by Uganda. Although they gave the lane up, they did try and correct as best they could. Inabu, no good. And Uganda's offense has all but disappeared They've only scored 2 points here in this final quarter. We've played over 4 minutes. That's not going to be enough to win them a game. Arabi now feeds the low post. Abdallah goes to work and gets the 2. Real hesitation on the shot. Waited to the last second to release it. Draliba hits the 2. Unsportsmanlike foul going to be called on Wainwright as he shoves over Abdul Halim. And Wainwright has been trash talking throughout the game. Let's have a look at a replay here. Not the right camera angle to see the unsportsmanlike foul, but Abdul Halim ends up on the hardwood, sprawled out. And that was enough for the officials to call the foul on Wainwright. That's Wainwright out of the game. Foul number 5 on him. Could that be the first nail in the coffin for Uganda's chances of picking up the win here today? Wainwright's not happy. You can see him explaining to his teammates what was happening. Abdul Halim back at the line. Rattles home the first of his 2. Coach Galanopoulos now needs to find something up his sleeve for Uganda to fight their way back into this one. Egypt have absolutely dominated this final quarter so far. 16-4 run in the first 4 minutes 48 of the game. Foul's going to be called. In fact, I think they're just going to say the inbound needs to be reset. Shahata, backdoor pass. Uganda defense leaves it wide open. They get away with it this time, though. Pass comes back. And the score is good for Ali Mohammed Ahmed. Into the corner, easy foul call as Robinson Opong is caught by, I think, both Arabi and Farag. They'll head to the line for 3 free throws. And Egypt lead by 20 now, under 5 minutes to play. And you feel like it's down to them as we see a replay now of Mohammed getting his first score of the game after his first taste of the action. Opong connects from the free throw line. Marai mops his brow in the warm arena. And the second is good to go. Opong will obviously get a third opportunity as well. And those kind of plays from Egypt really do give Uganda a little ray of light in this game, because it's those kind of mistakes from Egypt that are going to enable them to get back into it, if that is possible. Farag tries to find Arabi, does so. Arabi a little bit heavy-handed. That's been unusual from the big man. He's been pretty clinical here this evening. And what can Coach Galanopoulos do now? That will remain a Ugandan ball on the baseline. Farag saying he was shoved out of bounds. I'm not sure the video will hold that one up. I mean now. Back to Farag, and Egypt will slow things down, and rightfully so. Arabi, no good. As Robinson Opong comes across and fouls him. Arabi will head to the line for 3 throws. Pretty good from the free throw line. But Arabi will be frustrated that he didn't get the score. It was there for the taking. Misses the first of his two, and you can see his frustration. Certainly the second half hasn't gone the way he would have hoped. He's only put 2 points onto his tally in this second half, despite quite a few opportunities to increase that even further. Does connect with the second, though. He's up to 16 points along with 7 rebounds here this evening. So as frustrated as he is, not a bad night's work as we see him head to the bench. And if the lead remains the way it does, I wouldn't imagine we'll see Arabi back on the floor this evening. And Egypt's zone defense has caused Uganda a huge amount of problems. As we see the corner triple is good to go for Odeke. Egypt's lead at 15 now. It was at 20 not so long ago. Farag up and under. Too heavy on that one. Uganda with the defensive board. Rawaya, no good. Rebound, Chihata. Oh, he's almost thrown it away. Can Amin save it? He can. Wonderful save there by Amin. Farag. And Egypt will just burn some more clock down. Oh, sweet move. As Amin floats down the lane for the easy basket. And you feel like Egypt are just about in cruise control now. Once again, Rawaya can't get it to go, and Egypt are doling out a bit of Uganda's own medicine to them. Transition game paying dividends for Egypt here in the second half. And Rawaya has lost his way offensively after a bright start to the game. Smart play by Farag there, just slowing things down. He knows that it's for Egypt to control the tempo. And Makawi's never going to be able to hold that one in bounds. And there's a smart play. If I was to say anything that's changed this game, it would be the introduction of Arabi as we see the three from Uganda. They refuse to go away as Robinson Opong drops another triple. The Egyptian lead at 16, but as I was saying, the introduction of Arabi in the first half and potentially the switch to a zone defense from Egypt have been the real game changers here in Alexandria. Just over 2 minutes to play in this one. Egypt lead at 90-74. Coach Murai calls a timeout. Let's listen to his huddle.
عملت كده بنتريشن طلع الكره للبيراميد حياه سهل اللعب دلوقتي يا كابتن عايزين نمشي 24 ثانيه سكرين رول هاتوا بقى
And there's a real pure example of how the game has changed. That 2-3 zone, having the top two defenders for Egypt, their backcourt players being able to jump into the passing lanes, has really caused problems as Uganda now drop to a 1-2-1-1 zone press. Egypt quickly break that one down, and Uganda will drop into a man defense off the back of that zone press. Farag now kicks it back out. Egypt with patience as the ball's moved to the corner. Abdallah Tef is a little heavy. Jump ball is going to be called as both players were touching it as they fell out of bounds. I think that means it's going to be a Ugandan ball on the possession arrow. As we see Odeke come out of the game. into the action comes Inabu. Egypt continue to apply some pressure. Too much this time. Unsportsmanlike foul has been called as Inabu is on the deck. Coach Galanopoulos helps him to his feet, as do his teammates. Unsportsmanlike foul has been called on El Makawi. That's his 5th foul. The last we'll see of him this evening. Let's have a look. Again, officials deem that to be an unsportsmanlike. That's going to send Inabu to the line for shots. Just make sure he's got his shirt tucked in. Looking neat and smart. And what a game Jimmy Inabu has had. That's 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for him. He's made a few mistakes that will tarnish his performance here today. But he really has been one of the reasons that Uganda have run Egypt pretty close to the wire here today. Okay, sideline ball now for Uganda off the back of that unsportsmanlike foul. They trail by 14. A near impossible task, but not completely impossible for Uganda now. Shot goes up from Juliba. Doesn't get it to drop. It's going to remain a Ugandan ball though, as Dengeyu works hard on the offensive glass and forces Egypt just to knock it out of bounds. Dengeyu, good defense from Egypt. And Farag with the right motion, just slow it down, take their time. Remember, points difference might come into effect in this qualification campaign for both these teams, so it's important that they work that. Ahmed now with the jumpers, no good. Rebound for Abdallah is no good. They're going to slow it down, and Amin will look for space. It's not there. Abdallah now inside. Farag for 3 as the shot clock runs down, and there's string music from downtown for Omar Farag. He's up to 5 points. Foul's going to be called on him though as he reaches in on Inabu. And if I'm Coach Marai, I'm asking, why are you doing that? Absolutely unnecessary. Let's look at a replay of Farag's way downtown triple. But for Egypt now, they just want the biggest possible winning margin. And sending Uganda to the line unnecessarily seems to be counterintuitive to that. 46.7 seconds to go. Egypt lead by 16 at the moment. Second one is missed. Amin brings down the rebound into the hands of Abdallah Kef, and Egypt wisely slow things down a little bit. Amin looks to skip it out. Farad doesn't take the 3. Oh, it squirts its way through to Amin, and he'll hit the 3 instead. Egypt exceptionally fortunate in that situation for that ball to make it all the way across the 3-point line to Amin, as Jaliba will head to the bench, sorry, for Uganda. He's put in a shift here this evening. Played almost 35 minutes. And he'll have to do the same again tomorrow and on Sunday, more than likely. About a 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Pass inside to Gayu, and he's too heavy-handed. Lost concentration on that one. And Egypt will get the final possession of this game. And it went down to the final quarter. There's no two ways about that. Egypt with a huge final quarter, outscoring Uganda 29-16 in the final 10 minutes. That's what's enabled them to secure the win here this evening. Egypt 96, Uganda 77. As we see Coach Marai there, he'll bring aside the relief, that's for sure. This wasn't an easy job. Remember, we looked at their world rankings before the game. There's 41 places between these two teams in the world rankings. There's not 41 places between them on the floor this evening. Uganda with a phenomenal first quarter, an impressive third quarter, but they just ran out of steam in that final quarter. And that's led them to lose their game here this evening. Egypt showing their experience, showing their class, and showing the depth of their roster as well. That proved to be a clinical part of our game here in Alexandria. And Egypt get their qualification underway in the best possible circumstances with the win, as they huddle in the center court to have their first, but no doubt not their last, debrief of the game. Here are your shooting statistics. As you can see, Uganda shot well from outside, 11 from 30. Not bad. Egypt just consistent, and ultimately with more shots as well. Rebounding battle also won by Egypt. The works of Arabi and Mandur will prove very invaluable across this weekend. There's no doubt about that. That's an impressive big man combo. Here are your scorers. Arabi 16, Amin 15, Abdul Halim 12 for Egypt. Uganda led by Inabu with 20, Rawai with 14, and Wainwright with 14 as well. And Uganda can take a lot out of this game, a lot of positives. They came out of the blocks very impressively in the first half. And that first quarter, they ended up winning 24-21 as we look at some of the highlights from the final quarter action. But Egypt turned on the burners in the second quarter, and in fact, they led by 7 at the halftime break. Scrappier game ensued in the third quarter, though. What had been a free-throwing, offensive-focused game in the first half turned to a bit more of a defensive battle. And Uganda won the third quarter by 2 points, but it was almost like, all change, please, in that final quarter, as Egypt ran out 29-16 winners of the final 10 minutes. And that's what's given them their very impressive, if slightly maybe over-flattering, 96-77 win here today. Omar Arabi will probably take most of the headlines for the Egyptian win here. 16 points, 7 rebounds to his name, but you can't look past Ihab Amin. He got 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals to his name. Also in double digits was Abdul Halim with 12 points, and Metwali had 11 points and 4 assists as well. For our losers this evening, Uganda, well, they had the game's leading scorer in Nabu. He had 20 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. Dengeyu was just 1 point short of a double-double. He had 9 points, 12 rebounds. Also in double-digit scoring was Rawai with 14 points, and Wainwright also had 14 points. He had 6 rebounds, 6 assists as well. And then the final player in double digits was Robinson Opong, scoring 9 of his 12 from outside, and also pulling down 8 defensive rebounds. Plenty for Uganda to take from today's game, that is for sure, before they move on to face Morocco tomorrow and Cape Verde on Sunday. As for Egypt, they will now set their sights on Cape Verde tomorrow, and then Morocco to finish off this first qualification window on Sunday. But a perfect way for Egypt to get their qualification campaign for AfroBasket 2021 underway. A well-fought win here against Uganda. Thank you so much for joining me here in Alexandria. We've been treated to a wonderful first game of this qualification campaign. Egypt running out 96-77 winners.